Welcome back to the final days. Today is January 28th, 2022. I've been asked to show those two moons over Utah again and to provide close-ups. So this morning I obtained more images from the Heber Valley, Utah FAA weather camera showing the two moons traveling close together again. Last time I showed these two moons a couple days ago, we had a 37% waning crescent moon. Well, this morning the moon was only 14%, which means that only 14% of the moon was illuminated. So it was just a sliver, but it still does show up in these images. I did manage to get to this camera early enough to capture the very first images that these two moons were visible above the horizon and the buildings in the foreground. I'll play the footage through exactly as it came off the camera, and then we're going to look at some close-ups after that. These are signs that we are living in the very last days, according to the Holy Bible. In the Bible's book of Luke, chapter 21, verse 25, Jesus tells us that we will see signs in the sun, the moon, and the stars when the end is near. And here are some close-ups of those same images. And in just a minute, I'm going to zoom in even more. We're going to look at 3 levels of close-ups here. Unfortunately, the resolution of these images is so poor that we can only zoom in so much before the images become very pixelated and difficult to make out. The bright ball crossing the sky is the projection of the moon, and underneath that projection we see a much dimmer crescent moon, the 14% moon. Something I find very odd about all of the moon images is that whenever the real moon shows up on these FAA cameras, it is always very tiny and very far away looking. The projected images of the moon are always much larger and much brighter. I don't have an answer for this. I don't know why, but it's just an observation I've made while going through these images. I did find a few images of the actual moon traveling across the sky for hours and no projector. These 2 or 3 cameras that I found that showed this were located in the extreme far west parts of Alaska. This tells us that from the perspective of Alaska's far western edges, no objects eclipsing the moon were between the Earth's surface and the moon. I don't know if this is always the case or often the case, or if today was just an exception. I'll do more checking into this for future videos, and then I'll be able to provide you with more information on this. The moon projector is only used when there are objects in the sky between us and the moon that could possibly interrupt our vision of the moon traveling across the sky. This same projector is used throughout the daytime to hide eclipses of the sun, as I've shown in many previous videos. The reason for this is that this equipment only produces a large circular glare to make it appear as if the moon or the sun is still shining, completely hiding these multiple eclipses. If that glare is blocked while the sun or the moon is being eclipsed, then it would be obvious to us that something is up there, something's wrong. But the powers that be do not want anyone to suspect that anything is wrong or that there is an inbound planetary system coming this way. The reason for the projector is to make it appear as though the moon is still shining, even though it's being eclipsed from our view. Untold trillions have been spent on the technology to hide the inbound planetary system that eclipses our sun and our moon every single day, many times. The reason for the mass deception is because the enemies of Christ do not want you to know how close we are to the end, so that you cannot turn your life over to Jesus while you still have time. The next few screens will instruct you on how to accept Jesus Christ into your life. And thanks for watching this video.